I'm Stan Feuerberg, President and Chief Executive Officer of NOVEC, the Northern Virginia Electric Cooperative. We're here this morning at the clubs at Quantico as part of the Salute to the Armed Forces event put on by the Prince William Chamber. NOVEC is the red, white, and blue sponsor of the event, and we're here because this is something that NOVEC has done for a number of years. We've been supporters of a number of foundations that help vets once they come out of the service. And about 9 years ago, in 2008, NOVEC was the recipient of the Pro Patria Award, which is given to companies that support the military. One of our own, Gerald Gardner, had been stationed in the Middle East for a year, and during that time, employees and the company provided help to him and his battalion, and also to his children and his family who were back here. And so we provided food at Thanksgiving and presents at Christmas. And as a result, when Gerald came back, he nominated NOVEC for this very prestigious award. It is something that's given on an annual basis, and usually it goes to very, very large companies. But in our case, a smaller local company, we were awarded Pro Patria because of our support for Gerald and his time overseas. We've done a number of other things in the community and nationwide as part of our National Trade Association, the National Rural Electric Cooperative Association. We were one of the early supporters of the Veteran Hiring Initiative. We'd hired a young woman who had been in the Army for 5 years, including 1 year in Afghanistan, and she joined our team as part of our Public Relations Division. And as a result, we were one of the leaders around the country of the electric cooperatives in this Veterans Hiring Initiative. And so that's kind of some of the background behind it. Again, we're glad to be here today as the red, white, and blue sponsor, and hope that folks who see information about the event later on will get a better appreciation for what it's all about.
Attention orders. Department of Navy. This is to certify that the Secretary of the Navy has awarded the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal to Corporal Brandy M. Balderas, United States Marine Corps, for meritorious achievement while serving as an administrative specialist, Manpower Reserve Affairs Department, Headquarters Company, Headquarters and Service Battalion, Marine Corps Installations, National Capital Region, Marine Corps Base Quantico, from 1 January 2017 to 31 December 2017. During this period, Corporal Balderas' outstanding military presence, leadership, and personal example were beyond reproach, and demonstrated a continuing personal pride in herself and the uniform in which she proudly wears. She displayed a sustained superior performance of duty, far above that and her contemporaries, and inspired self-improvement in her fellow Marines through sterling example, expertise, and conduct. Further, she consistently displayed exceptional qualities of leadership and initiative that earned her the distinction as the Marine Corps Installations National Capital Region Marine Corps Base Quantico Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year for calendar year 2017. Corporal Balderas' noteworthy accomplishments, perseverance, and devotion to duty reflect the credit upon her and were in keeping with the highest traditions of the Marine Corps and the United States Naval Service. Given its 22nd day of January 2018, for the Secretary of the Navy, J.M. Murray, Colonel, United States Marine Corps, Commander, Marine Corps Installations National Capital Region, Marine Corps Base Quantico. Department of Navy. This is to certify that the Secretary of the Navy has awarded the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal to Lance Corporal Dylan J. Williams, United States Marine Corps, for meritorious achievement while serving as a finance technician, Marine Corps Combat Development Center, Combat Development Company, Headquarters and Service Battalion, Marine Corps Installations National Capital Region, Marine Corps Base Quantico, from 1 January 2017 to 31 December 2017. During this period, Lance Corporal Williams' outstanding military presence, leadership, and personal example were beyond reproach and demonstrated a continuing personal pride in himself and the uniform in which he proudly wears. He displayed a sustained superior performance of duty, far above that and his contemporaries. Also, he inspired self-improvement in his fellow Marines through sterling example, expertise, and conduct. He consistently displayed exceptional qualities of leadership and initiative that earned him the distinction as the Marine Corps Installations National Capital Region Marine Corps Base Quantico Marine of the Year for calendar year 2017. Lance Corporal Williams' noteworthy accomplishments, perseverance, and devotion to duty reflect the credit upon him and we're in keeping with the highest traditions of the Marine Corps and the United States Naval Service. Given this 22nd day of January 2018, for the Secretary of the Navy, J.M. Murray, Colonel, United States Marine Corps, Commander, Marine Corps Installations, National Capital Region, Marine Corps Base Quantico.
Sergeant Griffin, PFC Miller, get on up here. Let's go. Okay, a little bit of discrepancy. I keep telling you they couldn't handle 6 foot of me. All right. Hey, all kidding aside, Sergeant Griffin comes to us from the old guard. Okay, our premier soldiers that support the National Capital Region in a historic fashion. He now serves on Fort Belvoir and was hand-selected as the Army Combatives instructor in and on Fort Belvoir, as well as the headquarters battalion. He serves as an instructor for level 1 and level 2 Army Combatives training, and has competed both at the regional and the all-Army level in support of the same. We wanted to take the opportunity and the achievements of Sergeant Griffin to recognize him publicly for all he's done for the Army and his mission, but also as being a great and fine soldier. Let's give him a big round of applause. Next is PFC Miller, young soldier. Been in the Army less than a year, right?
Year and a half, sir.
Year and a half, I'm sorry. Okay, a little over a year. Comes to the, currently serving in the 212 Military Police Detachment, which supports the National Capital Region, and is absolutely a very important mission in supporting all the soldiers and sailors, airmen in a joint mission across not only Fort Belvoir, but the other installations, the other 3 installations around the National Capital Region and MDW. He's an HR specialist, and in his time supporting 212, has done over 90 personnel administrative actions in support of the detachment. He comes to us as a hard-working soldier. We want to recognize his achievements here today, so let's give him a big round.
In June of 2016, I make history as the first soldier to win the title of Miss USA. And by the grace of God, I had the opportunity to spend an entire year talking about our veterans, which leads me to the main point of my speech today. My very first interview as Miss USA, I sat down with a young woman, and I remember this so detailed to this day that I could not believe it. One of the first questions she asked me is, why support our troops as a platform? Why post-traumatic stress disorder as a platform? Why are we talking about the military in terms of your platform? Don't you think there's a more appropriate platform to discuss when it comes to being Miss USA? Because mind you, everyone, I immediately, almost every single interview, the first thing I want to talk about is our veterans. The first thing I want to talk about is our military families. That is the forefront of my conversation, but unfortunately, when you sit down with certain people, it makes someone uncomfortable when you talk about 20 veterans that commit suicide each day. Sometimes the statistics of it all affects people in a negative way, especially those that are not directly affected by the 1%, which the military represents, that 1%. My simple reply to this young woman was, why not? Why not talk about our military? And you know, that question, it really kills me. And I went on to ask her right after the interview a little bit about herself. And to my discovery, which I already assumed, is she, like many Americans, has absolutely no direct connection to the military or anyone in the military. No family, no friends who have ever served. It is because of that interview that I realized even more how important it is that I use my platform as Miss USA to be a voice. In an industry where post-traumatic stress disorder, mental illness, unemployment, suicide, the VA backlog are rarely discussed. And how important it is that we work for our veterans and care for them deeply as a nation. On the same hand, my question is, do we feel as a nation that we owe it to our veterans to keep our military and their families at the forefront of our good deeds? Sometimes I question if people really understand the hurdles of the 1% and their families and what they face on a day-to-day, which leads me to the word responsibility. An American responsibility, not just to have a support our troops bumper sticker, not just to have a tweet that goes out about how important it is to support our veterans, not just to post an American flag on your Facebook or an American flag on your Instagram, not just to wear American paraphernalia because it feels good, but rather actually dedicate time to the full extent of our capabilities to supporting our troops. To me, it's more than a slogan. To me, it's more than talking. It's action. It's putting your feet on the ground. It is taking the opportunity to have events like this that are dedicated to talking to employers, to talking to influential people in the community about the importance of our veterans. And we happen to be almost at the mecca of an area focused on the veterans. A community, as the DMV, has the most highest population of veterans than any part of the country. We are in the most effective area there is. I wonder, when it comes to our capabilities, if we're using the full extent, because if we were, would we be losing 20 veterans a day to suicide? Would we have an extensive VA backlog where there are veterans literally waiting years for service? Would we have 39,400 homeless veterans? Would we have 220,000 veterans that are currently unemployed if, in fact, as a country, we were using every single capability and bone in our bodies? Would these statistics be so high? The only way we in this room can impact our military and their families is if we actively encourage the people around us to support that very effort, not because you asked them, but because they feel a sense of responsibility. To the ones that hold the foundation of our constitutional freedoms we have in this country, there is a huge disconnect when it comes to understanding veteran needs for an individual that has no ties to the military. It's almost as if platforms and discussing the military has a certain face to it, as if a beauty queen, the nerve of a Miss USA, to sit in front of me and talk about post-traumatic stress disorder when I would rather talk about the best lipsticks to wear on a Sunday morning. That is the impression that I received as Miss USA, which is why I forced the conversation. I wasn't looking for it. I decided to have it. And as we sit here in this room, I encourage you all to do the exact same thing. I encourage you all to make sure that each and every opportunity you have when you walk out the door to have a conversation with someone about our veterans, I suggest you have it. Because I'm sure they got sick of hearing it from me. And I did not care. But honestly, what comes with being a Miss USA is a responsibility to a platform, and that is one platform I don't